Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the class of user interface design. So, actually, we are here, that is guidelines for designing the conceptual models. So, yesterday we discussed about conceptual models. So, today we will go through the guidelines for designing the conceptual models. So, first point is reflect the user's mental model, not the designer's. So this is the biggest mistake what most of the designers do. They always think in their own perspective rather than the user's mental model. Okay, so we have to always think about the users. Okay, that is user's mental model, not our own mental model. Draw physical analogies or present metaphors. Yesterday we discussed what is a metaphor. Okay, so try to find some analogy between the events or between the objects, between the actions. So comply with expectancies, habits, routines and stereotypes. So maintain some guidelines, okay, not change okay, from page to page, from design to design. Don't change. So fix something and you follow the same across the whole website. Provide action response compatibility. Make invincible parts and process of a system visible. Provide proper and correct feedback. Avoid anything unnecessary or irrelevant. Provide design consistency. Provide documentation and help system that will reinforce the conceptual model. Promote the development of both novice and expert mental models. We will discuss one by one in detail. The first one is reflect the user's mental model and not the designer's, which we have just now we discussed. The second one is draw physical analogies or present metaphors. Replicate what is familiar and well known. Right, whatever research we are doing today is we are just trying to replicate the human body or the nature what God has created. So try to replicate what is familiar and well known. Don't try to replicate which is not commonly used or which is not unknown by many. Okay, so try to replicate which is similar, which is familiar and which is known by most of the users. The third one is comply with expectancies, habits, routines and stereotypes. Create a system that builds on knowledge, habits, routines and expectancies that already exist. Okay, so try to create something which the user has already worked on or which already has the experience or which the user has seen it. Okay, so that is what is really very important. So if you come up with something which is totally new to the user, then he may not like it or he may hesitate to use it or he may require a lot of training to understand it. So the next one is provide action response compatibility. That is, all system responses should be compatible with the actions that elicit them. Names of commands, for example, should reflect the actions that will occur. So okay, for example, if you want if you keep the name something that the name is something else and whose meaning is something else, so that should not happen. Okay, whenever I right click on particular button on particular object, then there must be open, new, something like that. So when the name is new, it means that it should create something new. Okay, whether it may be a new object or okay, something like that. Make invisible parts of the system visible. In creating a mental model, a person must make a hypothesis about what is invisible and how it relates to what is visible. Don't try to keep many hidden things to the user. Okay, don't try to hide many things to the user. Okay, instead make the design simple and show everything to the user so that he will understand the system thoroughly, and once he understands the systems thoroughly, he can use it more efficiently. So that is the meaning of, for example, when you're copying a file from one folder to another folder, so you can so earlier days when the systems were really slow, we could now also if you're copying a very huge file, for example 5 GB 10 GB, then we can see the pages transferring from one folder to another folder. So you can see page by page, one page jumps from one folder and we can see it goes to the next folder. Similarly, when we are installing a new software, again we can see that how much percentage of it has been installed. Then provide a proper and correct feedback. Be generous in providing the feedback. So if the user does something right, then appreciate him, okay, so that gets motivated to use further. And if he does some mistakes, then tell him politely that this is not the way to do it. Okay, so always give a proper and correct feedback. Provide a continuous indication of status. For example, if you're searching something, then it should be that searching ... something should be always running in front of the users, so that they understand that background searching operation is taking place. So the next one is provide visible results of action. So for example, highlight the selected object. So if I click on particular object, you highlight it so that the user should understand that he has clicked on that. If doesn't if it is not highlighted, then the user may again and again click it. Okay, so display actions in progress. Okay, so show a window that is being changed in size, actually changing, not simply the window in its changed form. So display actions in progress. That is what, if you are downloading something and you indicate that how much portion of it has been already downloaded and how much also display the tentative time, how much time it takes to download. Then present as much context information as possible. To promote contextual understanding, present as much background or historical information as possible. Okay, on a query or search screen, show the query or search criteria when displaying the results. Means I type something, so whatever I typed also should be displayed along with the search content. Once the user has spent a lot of time in searching something, then usually he may forget that what exactly he searched. So present as much context information. Provide clear, constructive and correct error message. So this is also very important. So the error message should not be ambiguous. Okay, it should be very clear. For example, we have had difficult times when we were executing the C programs first time, because the error is shown in the line number is something different, where the error exists in some other line number. So we know how difficult it is to understand the error messages. Next one is avoid the unnecessary or irrelevant. Never display irrelevant information on the screen. People may try to interpret it and integrate it into their mental models. So if you are continuously showing something unnecessary or irrelevant, so that may get recorded into users mental model. So provide design consistency. We have discussed this. Design consistency reduces the number of concepts to be learned. Inconsistency requires the mastery of multiple models. Provide documentation and a help system that will reinforce the conceptual model. So consistencies and metaphors should be explicitly described in the user documentation. So always try to provide the user with a lot of documentation. Okay, so if at all he gets any doubt, so he should go through the documentation and understand. Then promote the development of both novice and expert mental models. Novices in the sense they are the beginners, and experts are likely to bring to bear different mental models when using a system. Promote the development of both. So you should not consider only one type of users. Okay, you should concentrate on both. Okay, both the novice users as well as the experts. So you have to have a balance between these two. So I think we will stop the class. We will stop the video now. We will start with defining objects in the next video. Thank you.